If you can see my screen, you can comment on the in-call messages, and if you can hear me loud and clear, you can still comment on the in-call messages. If you can see my screen, please confirm, and if you can hear me loud and clear, you can also confirm so that we can start. So anybody with a question? Any question before we start? Anybody with a question? So no question. A question? So if you don't have a question, I myself have a question. So somebody to unmute their mic and tell us what does the pivot table do? Somebody to unmute their mic and tell us what does the pivot table do? Anybody to tell us what does the pivot table do?
Hello guys, how are you? I believe that the pivot table is mostly used to summarize data and probably make some analysis. It's the easiest way to do analysis on your data.
Okay, Joseph, that was good. Yes, yesterday I said that pivot table is just used to summarize a data set and quickly generate lots of different insights. A pivot table is used to summarize a data set and quickly generate lots of different insights. So I have another question. What is the function of a slicer? What is the function of a slicer within a pivot table? Somebody to unmute their mic and tell us what is the function of a slicer within a pivot table. Somebody, anybody to tell us what is a slicer, or rather what is the function of a slicer within a pivot table? Collins Gichuhi can tell us what does a slicer do within a pivot table? What is the function of a slicer? Ronnie.
Slicer provide buttons that you can click to filter tables or pivot tables.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct, Ronnie. As I said yesterday, a slicer provides an interface outside a pivot table, and it contains buttons that you can click to just filter the data. A slicer provides an interface outside a pivot table, and it contains buttons that you can click to filter data. So last question, somebody to unmute their mic and tell us what is a timeline, or rather what is the function of a timeline within a pivot table. Somebody to unmute their mic and tell us the function of a timeline within a pivot table.
Okay. It is a special type of a slicer.
Okay.
That takes only date filled as a input used in the pivot table.
Okay, that was good, Hubert. As I said yesterday, a timeline is just a special type of a slicer that can only take dates as a field. Timeline is a special type of a slicer that can only take date as an input. So that was good. And so let's tackle today's content. And today we'll be talking about Excel visualizations. And yesterday we had a sneak peek of our visualization using the pivot chart. We saw how the pivot chart can be used to visualize data within a pivot table. So today we'll learn more about Excel visualization, and we shall see different type of charts and how we can bring to life data through visualization. So let's start. So creating an Excel chart has 3 steps. Creating an Excel chart has 3 steps, and the first step is to select the data. The first step is usually selecting the data. The second step is selecting the chart. The second step is selecting the chart, and the final step is to format our chart. So I'll repeat. Creating an Excel chart has 3 steps. The first step is to select data. The second step is to select the chart of the chart type that we want to represent our data. The third step is just formatting our chart, and those are the 3 steps that we'll be using to format, or rather to represent our data as a visual. So the first visual that we want to tackle is the line chart. We want to see the line chart, and on our screen here we have a small Excel table. It has 3 columns: the year, the amount, and the cost. And we want to visualize this data here using a line chart. So how will we do it? As I said, our first step is to select our data. So I want everybody, let me zoom my screen. I want everybody to select their column, the amount column here on our Excel table. Just select the amount column of Excel table. Hope everyone is doing that. So our next step is to insert our chart. And how do we insert our chart? So we'll navigate to our insert tab here, click on it, and on our chart section here, this is where we will select our chart, and we want to select a line chart. We want to select the line chart, and just look at your screen here. I'm using my cursor to show you where the line chart is here. So placing my cursor there, you can see we have some instruction. A line chart or area chart. Use this chart to show trends over time. We use this chart to show trends over time. So click on it. We have various line charts: 2D, 3D, 2D area, and 3D area. For example, I want us to use the first chart here, the first line chart there. So click on it so that we can load our chart on our Excel sheets. Has everyone done that? So I'll just repeat the process again for those joining us. The first step for loading our visualization, I've said, is to select our data, and I want everybody to select their amount column on our Excel table. Select this column here, the amount column, on our Excel table. Then navigate to our insert tab here. Navigate to our insert tab here, and on our chart section, select this line chart, and you can select the first line chart that you come across. So if you want to know more about a line chart, just place your cursor here, and you can see your description. And Excel tells us use this chart type to show trends over time, years, months, and days, or categories. Use it when the order of categories is important and there are many data points. So click on it, and we have our line chart displayed on our Excel sheet. A question up to that juncture? A question?
Okay, what is the difference between what you are doing today and what we did yesterday? Yesterday, I think we did some things to do with crafts, something like that. So what is the difference?
So thank you, Bart, for your question. We're just expounding more about Excel visualization. Yesterday was just a teaser. So today we'll be learning more about Excel visualization in depth. Okay, Hubert?
Yeah.
So the first visualization we came across yesterday, and it was a pivot chart. So today we'll come across various chart types. And our first chart that you are discussing is a line chart, which is used to show trends over time. So I hope everyone has their chart loaded on the Excel sheet, and we can resize it to fit our section here. So place your cursor on these ends and just drag your chart to fill this space here. And there we have it. I hope everyone has done that. Alvin, have you done that? Alvin, have you done that?
Yes, I have.
Enoch, have you done that, Enoch? Are we on the same page? So let's continue. On our x-axis here, we have number 1 to 16. On our x-axis here, we have number 1 to 16. And just to take you back, we have said our line chart is used to show trends over time. So we have to replace this number 1 to 16 and to display our year. So how will we do that? So everybody click on that axis there, the x-axis. Click on that axis. And then navigate on the chart design tab. Navigate to our chart design tab, and on our right, on the data section, we have this button here. Select data. Click on it, and we have a dialog box that appears on our screen. And to our right, we have this section here, horizontal category axis labels, and we want to edit it to display our years. So click on that edit, and yet again we have another dialog box, and now I want everybody to select their year. So select the years. So drag to select our years, and finally say OK. Then the final OK, and our x-axis has updated, displaying our years. Emmanuel?
Kindly repeat. I was having some network issues.
Okay, no problem. I'll do exactly that. To undo, just a reminder, always press Ctrl Z. To undo anything, just press Ctrl Z. So the first step that I've said, click on the x-axis, click on the x-axis, and then navigate to our chart design tab. Navigate to our chart design tab there. A question? Somebody? So please mute your mic if you are not speaking or asking a question. So the first step is to click on our x-axis here. So click on it on our chart design tab. Navigate to this section here called data, and click on this select data button here. So clicking on it, we have a dialog box that pops up, and on our right we have this section here, horizontal category axis labels, and you want to edit. So click on that edit button, and we have another dialog box that pops up, and you want to select the range of years from our Excel table. So click there and drag, click and drag, and just say okay, and then finally say okay, and you have changed our x-axis to display our years rather than just numbers from 1 to 16. Are we together, Emmanuel? Are we together, Emmanuel?
Okay, all good.
So anybody with a question up to that juncture? Anybody with a question up to that juncture? Unmute your mic and ask. Wisdom, are we together? Mwema?
Yes, we're together.
Mwema, unmute your mic and ask. Mwema, please unmute your mic and ask. You want me to repeat? I'll repeat. So I'll just undo everything. So we have displayed our line chart on an Excel sheet, and we want to change this x-axis to display years rather than just numbers from 1 to 16. And that is because our line chart is used to show trends over time. So our x-axis has to display time, and in our case here it is years. So click on that x-axis and navigate to our chart design tab. Navigate to our chart design tab, and on our data section, click on this select data. There is a dialog box that pops up. There is a dialog box that pops up. So on our right hand side here, we have this horizontal category axis label, and you want to edit it. So click on edit, and now we can select our year. So drag it to display on all the years from 2007 to 2022. Then say okay, and then say okay again, and you have updated our chart to display years. Are we together, Mwema? Joseph, have you done that?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. So next we want to update our line chart. You can see a line here that is gray, but that gray line is not visible well. We can change the color to give it a more popping color, which is visible. So to do that, just select any on your line, on that line there, and just right click, and then go down to format data series. Click on your line, right click, and then scroll down to your format data series, and that will bring this format data series on our right hand side. A question? Anyone with the difficulties displaying this tab here on our right hand side? Has everyone done that? Hope everyone has done that. So next, we want to select this paint icon here. A question, Hubert?
Yes, can you just repeat once more on how to display the I think the format data series?
Okay. So to do that, click on our line here, that line chart. Just click on it, and then on your, if you're using a mouse, right click, or a touchpad, right click, and then scroll down to this format data series. Right click and go to format data series, and that will bring this pane here, this format data series pane. Hubert, are you okay?
Excuse me, Daniel.
Okay.
Yes.
When I right click on my side, the format data series is giving me options for change data labels, shapes, and also format data labels. Yeah, it is giving me two options.
So I'll just repeat the process again. Click on
So
your
when
line.
do we? It's just the same, but I'm just
Okay.
asking when do you use now the change data labels, shape, and also format data labels? Which one do we use here?
So which version of Excel are you using?
2016.
Okay, it might be different from mine because I'm using a 2021. So but we'll discuss about those legends and those labels. So don't worry. For now, just display that format data series.
Fine.
Okay. So we'll just learn more about those legends and the labels as we proceed. So don't worry. So next, if this pane has displayed on your extreme right, I want everybody to click on this icon here. The icon displaying something like a paint can. So click on it. Click on it, and we can go next to our color. So you want to change our color to a more vibrant color. There. So click on any color of your choosing. On my side, I love orange, and I've chosen orange. And there we have a more popping visualization that anybody can see. Has everyone done that? Has everyone done that? I'll just repeat. So click anywhere on your line chart, click on it, then right click to format data series, and we have this option here, this paint can. Click on it, then navigate to this color section here, and just select any vibrant color. So on my side, I've chosen orange, and now we have updated our line chart to something more visually appealing. So Emily, Olo, have you done that?
Yes.
Devox, have you done that? Hubert, have you done that?
Yes, I've done it.
Okay. So next, we will add axis labels. Next, we'll add axis labels. And to do that, there is this plus sign. On our right top side, there's this plus sign. Click on it and make sure our axis titles is clicked on to display these axis labels. I'll repeat. On our top right hand side, there's this plus sign. Click on it, and it will give you chart elements, and there's a list. I want us to include chart titles to our visualization. So click on it, and we have chart titles. A question up to there? A question. I'll repeat. On our right hand side, on the top, we have this plus sign. Click on it. We have chart elements. We have a list of chart elements. Access, axis title, chart title, data labels, data table, all that up and down bars. But for example, we want to select axis title. Make sure axis title is selected to visualize this axis titles. Has everyone done that? Has everyone done that? Now we want to give our axis titles, and on our x-axis, just delete that and say years. We will give our x-axis a name and we will say it, and we'll name it to years. Additionally, we can name our y-axis. Click on that axis. Click on that axis and rename it to amount. Click on the y-axis and rename it to amount. Our x-axis, we'll name it years. Our y-axis, I want to name it amount. Our y-axis, I want to name it amount. A question? If you have a question, you can unmute your mic and ask. Anybody some difficulties displaying the axis titles? Anybody with difficulties displaying the axis titles? Ronnie, do you have any difficulties?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, Mwema? Okay, so name your x-axis as years, your y-axis as amount, and next, go back to that plus sign on top of our right hand side and make sure the chart title is clicked on. Make sure your chart title is clicked on, and we want to rename our chart title. Give it a decent name, not just amount. And you want to name our chart as amount by years. Everybody to update their chart title from amount to amount by years. Amount by years. I hope everyone has done that. Update your chart title from amount to amount by years. Hope everybody has done that. So next, we want to make our title bold. We want to make our title bold, our y-axis bold, and our x-axis bold. So how will we do that? Click on our title, navigate to our home tab. On the font section here, there's this bold option. Click on it. And now we have bolded our title. To do that, click on our title, navigate to our home tab. On this font section here, on our extreme left, click on that bold to bold our title, and you can do the same to our axis title. On our y-axis, navigate to our home tab, to our font section, click on that bold option. A question? Anyone? Has everyone done that? So again, I want to bold our axis title here, our x-axis title. Click on that title, navigate to our home tab. On our font section, just click on this bold icon to bold our ears. Has everybody done that? Joseph, have you done that? Joseph, have you done that?
Not yet, not yet. Amount, I'm on amount by years. Huh?
So just bold that. And the reason we are doing that is to make our axis labels and our chart title to be visible for anyone
So
reading.
I go to what? Where? Home
Click, yes, go to your home tab.
or format?
Go to your home tab
Uh-huh.
on this font section. There's this button here, a B. There's this B button representing bold. Click on it and you'll bold your x-axis, your y-axis, and your chart title. Do that.
Okay.
Anybody with difficulty doing that? Anybody with difficulty doing that? Anybody with difficulty doing that? We are bolding our axis titles to make it visually appealing. We are bolding our axis titles to make it visually appealing. So just a reminder, the 3 steps for creating our Excel charts. First, select your data. Second, select your chart. Third, format your chart. Yes, Ronnie, a shortcut for bolding our titles is Control B. Control B, you'll be able to bold our chart title and our axis. A question up to that juncture? A question up to that juncture? So, and we have now created our first visual, which was a line chart, which shows trends over time. It shows the trend of our amount over time. So next, we want to look at a different type of chart. Next, I want us to look at a different type of chart, and that is a scatter chart. That is a scatter chart, and I want us to use our amount and cost column to display that chart. So I want somebody to unmute their mic and tell us the steps of loading a chart on Excel sheets. Somebody to unmute their mic and tell us the steps of loading our scatter chart to our Excel sheets. Somebody with an idea on how to load our chart to Excel sheets.
Here, we select the data.
Okay.
After we select the data, we go to charts.
Okay. To insert.
To insert, sorry. You select data, go to insert, then go to the chart section. Then there is a place here, the types of chart. We have a scatter chart. Huh?
Okay.
Select a drop-down menu.
Okay.
You can select a scatter chart or a bubble one.
Okay.
Or we also have more options of the charts.
Okay.
So you can select whatever it's suitable for you.
Okay, that is good, Joseph. So the first step for creating visuals, I said, is to select our data, and the columns that you wanted to use is the amount and the cost. So select the amount and the cost. Next, navigate to our insert tab, and then navigate next to our chart section here. And since we want to use a scatter chart, so click on that drop down, and I want everybody to select this first scatter chart. I want everybody to select that first scatter chart. So before selecting, you can just place your cursor on top of that chart and you can have some information about that chart. And Excel says use this chart type to compare at least two sets of values or pair of data to show relationship between sets of values. And when can we use it? And use it to when the data, we can use it when the data represent a separate measurement. So just click on it and we have our scatter chart. So I want everybody to drag our scatter chart below our line chart that we created and just place it there. Drag your scatter chart and just place it below our line chart. And now we can format our scatter chart. So on our previous example, we saw how we can load that format series option, but we have another method, and that method, as I said, is using this plus sign here on the top to include our axis titles and our chart title. So first thing again, somebody can unmute their mic. Casey, you can unmute your mic and ask a question. Casey, please unmute your mic and ask your question.
Yeah. On the scattered chart nimeachwa nyuma.
Okay, I'll just undo. So the first step is to select our data. And I want us to use our amount and cost columns. So select our amount and cost columns there. Select our amount and cost columns. Next, navigate to our insert tab. Navigate to our insert tab and go to the chart section here. And then click on this drop down here on our insert scatter chart. And then select the first scatter chart. Are we together, Casey?
Yes.
Anybody with a question? Anybody with a question up to that juncture? Okay, so drag your scatter chart below our, you can drag your scatter chart just below our line chart and just fit it somewhere there. So I want somebody to unmute their mic and please tell us how to load our axis titles on our chart. Somebody to unmute their mic and tell us how to include our axis titles on our chart. Somebody to unmute their mic and tell us how to include the axis titles on our chart. Somebody?
I think I can try that one.
Yes, Alvin.
You just click on the plus sign on the top right.
Okay.
From there, then you select the axis titles. You click on the checkbox.
That is right. Good. It is as simple as that. On this plus sign, we have various chart elements. We have our axis. We have our axis titles. We have our chart title. We have our data labels and all that. But you want to include our axis title, just check on that option, and our axis titles have been included. So next, we want to name our axis titles so that you can communicate something. And on our x-axis, I want us to name our axis as amount. I want everybody to name their axis as amount. Next, you can name our y-axis title. We can name our y-axis title as costs. I want everybody to name their y-axis title as costs. Anybody with a question up to that juncture? Anybody with a question up to that juncture? Wisdom? Are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
Hubert, are we together?
I'm good.
Okay. So next we want to display these individual points on our chart. Next I want to change the color of our individual points here, and to do that just click on one point, just right click, and we display our format data series pane once more. I'll repeat. To change the color of our individual points on our scatter chart, just click on any individual point, click on any individual point, right click, and go to format our data series. Has everyone done that? A question? Anybody with a question? Okay, so next on our format data series pane here, navigate on this paint icon, click on it, and now rather than using this line, you can go to our next option, which is the marker. Instead of this line option here, I want everybody to click on their marker. Click on their marker, and then move to this option named fill and expand that option. Next, move to that fill option and expand it, and now we can change our color to something more vibrant so that it can be seen more easily. And I will change mine to dark red. Click on that and say okay, and I have changed the color of our various points. Has everyone done that? Has everyone done that? So I'll just repeat. So click on any individual point here on our chart, then right click, and then click on format data series. Next, on our format data series pane, navigate on this paint icon, navigate on this paint icon there. Rather than our line, I want everybody to click on their marker. Click on your marker, and on our fill section here, make sure you have expanded that option on our fill option there, and then navigate down to color, and then choose any color of your liking. Choose any color of your liking, and mine I will choose dark red. And now we have updated our scatter chart to something more visible. A question? Anjeru, are you okay?
Yes.
Okay. Is Eric present? Eric, do you have a question? Eric? Anybody with a question up to that juncture can unmute your mic and please ask. So next, I want somebody to unmute their mic and please tell us how to update our chart title. Somebody to unmute their mic and tell us how we can update our chart title. Somebody please to unmute their mic and tell us how to update our chart title. Somebody to unmute their mic and tell us how to update our chart title. Casey, can you try, Casey? Casey?
Okay. Yes. So you click on the plus sign
Okay.
and make sure that the chat title is enabled automatic.
Okay.
And write the title maybe.
Okay. That is good, Casey. So now next we can update our chat title to something that communicates clearly on what our scatter chat is doing, and I want everybody to name their chat as amount versus costs, amount versus costs. I want everybody to name their chat as amount versus costs. Has everyone done that? Okay. Next, I want everybody to bold their chat titles. And I'll remind you again, to bold our chat titles, you can click Control plus B on your keyboard to bold your titles. You can Control plus B to bold your titles, or you can navigate on your home tab on our font section, then click this B here to bold our axis titles. Everybody do that. Bold your axis titles and your chart title to make it more appealing, so that anybody can see our axis title and our chart titles easily. Anybody with a question up to that juncture? Anybody with a question up to that juncture? So next, I want to format our axis. I want to format our axis to remove these decimal points, so that at least our scatter chart can look more presentable. Next, I want to format our numbers on our axis so that it can be presentable. To do that, just click on our axis there. Click on our axis there. And on our extreme right, we have this format axis pane that appears. On our extreme right, we have this format axis pane that appears. And I want everybody to navigate to their axis option on their format axis pane. Navigate to your format axis option, and it is represented by a graph. So click on it. Has everyone done that? I'll repeat. To display this format axis pane here, just click on your axis. You can click on your axis to display this format axis pane here. Next, navigate to our axis options. Next, navigate to our axis option. Scroll down to our numbers. Scroll down to our numbers here. And I want to remove these decimal places. Are we on the same page, everyone? And have you done that?
From my side,
Yes.
if you click the axis, it doesn't the format axis tab doesn't come up. So if you double click,
Yes, you can double click it.
if you double click, that's when it comes. So maybe someone might be somewhere stuck.
Okay, that's a good observation, Joseph. Double click it and it will appear. So once you have done that, on our axis option, I want everybody to navigate down to our number options. So I want to remove these decimal places on our axis, so that our our numbers here to be cleaner and visually appealing. So on our decimal places, I want everybody to write 0 so that you can include 0 decimal places. Has everyone done that? Next, I want to include a comma separator on our values. Include our comma separators on our values. So I'll make sure that is clicked and that our y-axis is more cleaner and readable. Our y-axis is cleaner and readable. Alvin, unmute your mic and ask.
I haven't quite got the part where you said about removing the decimal places. Please, kindly repeat.
Okay, I'll just undo. So navigate. Have you clicked on your axis option? Navigate down to your number and expand the option there. On our decimal places, delete that 2 and just write 0. Delete that 2 and write 0. Have you done that, Alvin? Delete that 2 and write 0. Next, I want to use a 1000 separator. Just click on that. A 1000 comma separator, and there we have edited our y-axis. Is that okay, Alvin? Is that okay, Alvin?
I haven't been able to find the. I think on the right there's a part where you showed the bar graph. I haven't been able to see it while you're editing.
Okay.
Double click.
So double click on your y-axis. Double click on your y-axis. And then navigate to this option here. The graph icon, the axis option. Click on that. And expand this number option. Expand it. And then you see we have a category which is number. We have decimal places. And we have a checkbox here for use a 1000 separator. Have you seen that on your worksheet, Alvin?
Yes, now I can see it.
Yes, so edit it and make sure you have 0 decimal places and your use a 1000 separator, comma separator is clicked, and our y-axis is readable and more cleaner. So I will repeat the process again, but now on our horizontal axis, or rather our x-axis. So I'll just click on our x-axis and just repeat the process. Click on it, navigate to our axis, on our axis option. So we want to remove the decimal places so that our axis can be more readable. So on our number section there, we want to include 0 decimal places, and you also want to include that 1000 comma separator. And now our scatter chart or our scatter plot is more visible and readable to anyone who will be seeing it. Alvin, have you done that on your x-axis? Alvin? Okay. Hubert, are you okay? Side?
Good.
Side? Have you done that? Said, have you done that? Collins? Is Kasola Collins present?
Yes.
Okay, have you done that? Are you following on how to create
Yeah.
visuals in Excel?
Sure.
Okay, so I want us to create a third visual. I want us to create a third visual, and that will be a cluster column. And we'll use again our amount and cost columns. to do just that. And again, I will ask a question. Somebody to unmute their mic and please tell us the steps of loading our visuals to our Excel sheets. Somebody to unmute their mic and tell us the steps of loading our clustered column chart. Somebody, I want us to have an interactive session. Somebody to unmute their mic and tell us the steps of loading our clustered column chart. Is Amos present? Okay, Hubert, try.
Okay, you can select the amount and the cost.
Okay.
Then you go to Insert tab.
Okay.
Then on your charts,
Okay.
you can look for, what were you saying?
Clustered column chart.
Yes, we can look for the clustered, and then we just tap on it, and then we choose any option that we want. We just click on the drop down arrow.
Okay, that is good, Hubert. And our clustered chart, our clustered column chart, it is on this option here on our insert column or bar chart. So click on that drop down, and there we have our clustered column chart. So click on it. So before clicking on it, again to remind you, Excel gives us some information about various charts, and for this one, use this chart to compare values across a few categories. Use this chart to compare values across a few categories. Use it when the order of categories is not important. So finally, click on it and you have loaded our chart. So let's drag our chart below our line chart that we created earlier next to our scattered chart there. So place it there. And I have another question. So somebody to unmute their mic and tell us the steps of updating our chart title. Somebody to unmute their mic and tell us how to change our chart title. I want us to have an interactive class. So somebody to unmute their mic and tell us how to update our chart title. Somebody? Amos? Amos can tell us how to.
Hello.
Hello.
Just navigate to the chart we've created, to the plus sign.
Okay.
It already exists actually. So what we should do is to check the chart title box so that it appears to the chart area.
Okay.
Then you go to the where it is written chart title. Then you are able to edit to whatever title you want it to have.
Okay. So that is good, Amos. So we can update our chart title to amount and cost comparison by year. To amount and costs comparison by year. And there we have updated our chart title. Has everyone done that? So as you have noticed, we are comparing our amount and cost by year. So I have to change my x-axis to years. I have to change my x-axis to years. And I will pose another question to anybody present in today's class. How can we change our x-axis to display years rather than this number 1 to 16. How can we change our x-axis to display years rather than number 1 to 16? Stella, if you are present, or anyone who has an idea how we can change our x-axis to display years rather than number 1 to 16. Somebody, I want us to have a very interactive session. Somebody to tell us how to change our x-axis from number 1 to 16 to years. Somebody?
Okay. Okay, I'll try.
Okay.
You select the x-axis,
Okay.
the 1 to 16.
Okay.
Then you and your chart design table, the chart design, navigate the chart design.
Okay.
Then you select you tap and select data.
Okay.
Then you you press edit.
Okay.
And then you go and select the year from 2007 to 2022.
Okay. So yes, those are the steps to replace our x-axis from number 1 to 16 to display years. And I'll just repeat. So as Wisdom has said, so click on our x-axis, then navigate to our chart design tab, and on this data section here, we can select data, and we have this dialog box. Click on edit, and then just select our data from 2007 to 2022, then say OK, and then finally say OK, and we have successfully replaced our 1 to 16 numbers with our years. So Alvo, where specifically? Okay. So the first step is to click on our x-axis. Click on your x-axis. Next, navigate to our chart design tab. There, navigate to our chart design tab, and then on our data section, click on this select data, and we have this dialog box that pops up on our horizontal category axis label. Click on edit. On our horizontal category axis label, click on edit, and I want now to select our years. So select your years from 2007 to 2022, and then finally say OK, and now we have replaced our 1 to 16. We have replaced it to 2007 to 2022. Alvo? Good. So to make it more readable, we can expand our chart a little bit. We can expand our chart to make it more readable. Everybody to expand our chart so that we can be able to read our years. So next class, I have another question. Somebody to unmute their mic and tell us how we can. A question?
Yeah, excuse me, Daniel. Mine is bringing figures on top of the bars. Huh? How can I remove that one? The figures.
What figures?
Like you see the amount figures here.
Okay. Or this legend.
Yeah.
This legend here. Just double click on it. Joseph?
On the graphs. Like that one.
Okay. Which amounts?
The the amount figures are on top of the bars.
Okay. So is there a step that you skipped, or there is somewhere you just clicked on mistakenly?
I'm not sure. Because
I
I thought
thought
it
it
is
is
the
the chat
chat type,
type,
but
but
I'm
I'm
trying
trying
to
to
select
select
different
different
chat
chat
types
types
or
or
designs,
designs,
Okay.
but
but
it
it
is
is
still
still
bringing
bringing
me
me
the
the
same.
same.
So there's somewhere you clicked it so that it can display so that it displayed that way. Anybody with a similar challenge?
I think you need just to share your screen also so that maybe your problem can be seen.
Okay.
I think it's the chat style. You can check the chat style.
It's
It's
the
the
chat
chat
type,
type,
all
all
right?
right?
Let
Let
me
me
share
share
the
the
screen.
screen.
Okay, please do that. Joseph.
Are
Are
you
you
able
able
to
to
see
see
my
my
screen?
screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Joseph, why is your chart not having a title? Your chart has to have a title. Your chart has to have a title, and the reason why your amounts are displaying on the top, and somebody has suggested, is because of the chart style. Just play around with those options, those chart style options. Click on the next one.
Yes, actually activated is data labels.
Click on your plus sign on top of on your right hand side, and click those data labels and click it.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much.
Yeah, so that was good wisdom. So you can okay. So I'm resharing again my screen. Can you see my screen? Somebody to confirm if they can see my screen.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I was asking a question. Somebody to unmute their mic and please tell us how we can clean our y-axis here, so that we can remove these decimal places and include a 1,000 comma separator. Somebody to unmute their mic and tell us how we can clean up our y-axis to remove those decimal places and include a comma separator. We want to have an interactive class. Somebody please unmute their mic and tell us the steps of removing these decimal places and including a comma separator. Somebody? Alvo?
Okay,
Okay,
I
I
think
think
you
you
click
click on.
Okay, you back?
I think you click on your y-axis. Just click on it,
Okay.
and
And
then
then
there is
there's
that
that
format
format
axis
axis
that
that
appears
appears
on
on
your
your
right
right
side.
side.
Okay.
Uh,
Uh,
you
you
can
can
click
click
on
on
the
the
axis
axis
option,
option,
that
that
the
the
one
one
with
with
bars.
bars.
Okay.
Uh, then
Then
you
you
go
go
to
to
your
your
On our numbers.
Yeah,
numbers.
Okay.
Then you click on it.
Okay.
Then you, where it is written decimal places below numbers,
Okay.
you
you
just
just
remove
remove
the
the
2
2
and
and
you
you
put
put
a
a
0,
0.
and then
Then
you
you
can
can just
just mark
mark
use
use
100,
100,
1,000
1,000
separator.
separator.
Okay.
Yes.
So thank you, Bart. So those are the steps of removing the decimal places and including the 1,000 separator. So I'll just repeat again for anybody who did not understand. So double click on our x-axis to load this pane here, the format axis. Navigate to this axis option and then move to this number option here. So click on it. Make sure the decimal places are 0 and this option of use 1,000 separator is clicked. So I'll click on that and now we have edited our y-axis. A question? Anybody? A question up to that juncture? Somebody to ask a question? So if you don't have a question, I'll ask another question. So how do we include our axis labels? Somebody else to tell the class how to include the axis labels. We want to have an interactive class. Somebody else to tell us how to include the axis labels. Somebody please unmute their mic and tell us the steps of including the axis labels. Somebody? Alvo? Alvo?
Oh, yes.
Tell us the steps of including the axis titles on our clustered column chart.
Press on the nadhani unafaa ufinye hiyo plus sign alafu na check
Okay.
on the axis titles
Okay.
alafu sasa uta edit according to the names that kuzipe.
Good. That is good. Yes, that is the step. There's this plus sign on our top right hand side. Click on it and we have a list of elements. So make sure your axis title is clicked on. And now we can name our axis titles. So on our x-axis we can name years, and on our y-axis we can name it to amount. And it is best practice if our chart has a title and our axes are properly named. It is good to have our visualization to have a title and to have axis labels, so that anybody who is reviewing our work can have an understanding of what we are trying to present. Okay, class? Somebody with a question up to that juncture? Somebody with a question up to that juncture?
Yes, I do.
Yes, please ask your question, Alvin.
On the chart that you've labeled on the y-axis, should the title be amount and cost instead of just amount?
That is good correction, Alvin. You can just write amount and costs. That is a good correction. Amount and costs. Good. So another question. Another question, class. So next.
Also, you can on the column chart you can give the amount this color.
Yes. Good. So can you please tell us the steps of giving our columns a visible color, Amos? Do you have any idea of doing that?
Yes, you just click on the chart,
Okay.
then there is the paint color.
Okay.
So there's the paint button. Yeah. So you can change the color from there.
Okay.
You can move downwards. There is a color option.
Is this color option? Okay. That is good, Amos. So we can also thank you. Thank you, Amos. So we can also give our amount and our cost columns here a more vibrant color to make them pop visually. And a suggestion, so because we used our line chart as orange and it represented our amounts, I want everybody to change their amount column here from gray, light gray, to orange. I want everybody to change their amount column from gray to orange. So just click on it as Amos said, and then navigate to this paint can here, and just give our column a color. And now we have updated our color to orange. So a question, Emmanuel?
Aren't we supposed to be comparing the amount by versus cost?
Yes, we are comparing.
Like if we give them the same color, there won't be any. It won't show any comparison.
Okay. So I was heading there, but that is a good observation. So since we have matched our amount column color with our line chart above, so next thing is to change our cost column color. We have to change our cost column color so that they cannot color clash. So click on it, navigate to our format data series pane here on our color, and you can give our cost. You can give our cost column a different color, and I'll give mine blue gray color like that. Is that okay, class? So it is best practice if you have multiple visualization, like we have here on our clustered column chart here. We have an amount. It is best practice our amount column color to match with our amount line chart here. Are we together, class? So that anybody viewing our visualization can understand what we are doing. A question up to that juncture, class? A question? A question? So now we have three visuals. We have three visuals that is a representation of our small data here. Now we have three visuals representing our small data here. And this visualization, they have brought our numbers to life. Are we together, class? Up to there? So Joseph, have you done that? Have you changed your cost color to your color of your liking and your amount to orange to match our line chart?
Gone off.
But I think
The class is being recorded, so you will just review the steps that you did not understand or the step that you missed. So class, I want us to click on our next sheet. I want us to click on our data visualization sheet so that we can look at our last visualization of the day. Click on that data visualization sheet so that we can look at our last data visualization of the day. A question, Amos?
Yes, just before we go to data visualizations, the scatter plot.
Okay.
Will you give an interpretation of the same, or that one will cover later?
You can just give it. It just represent our data. So how you interpret the chart is up to you. But as you can see, our amount, when it is 0, it is somewhere our cost is close to 3,000. That is what our chart is saying. When it is 1,000, we don't have a cost. If it is if our amount here matched, we could have a point here. And so let's look at another example. For 4,000 here, you can see it matches with some cost here. So that is what our data is trying to tell us. Okay, Amos? So that is just,
That is what I wanted to get.
yes, it just communicates our data. Another question? Another question before we move to the next sheet? Okay, so let's move to the next sheet. And we want to look at another chart called the net earning waterfall chart. We want to look at another chart called net earnings waterfall chart. And this is a chart that is used mostly in people in finance. So I just want us to look on it and see how we can visualize our income statement here. On our right, we have some data, 2022 net income waterfall. This is an income statement and we want us to visualize it. Okay, class? So the first step is to select our data. The first step is to select our data. And this time, I want us to select both this column here and this other column here. And to do that, to select two consecutive or multiple columns, select our first column here, then press on your control on your keyboard and select the next column. Press control on your keyboard and then select the column. Anybody with a difficulty doing that? Anybody having difficulties doing that? I have said first select your first column here with the revenue up to net earnings. Then next press on your keyboard control and then select your next column. And now you have selected two columns. Anybody with some difficulties doing that? Next, we can move to the insert tab on our ribbon. Move to the insert tab on our ribbon and you want to select the waterfall chart, and it is here. Observe on my screen here. So click on that drop down and there we have our waterfall chart. Has everyone spotted where our waterfall chart is? And before clicking on it, Excel has given us a small description of our waterfall chart. And it says, use this chart type to show cumulative effect of a series of positive and negative values. Use this chart to show cumulative effect of a series of positive and negative values. So use it when you have data representing inflows and outflows such as financial data. And then finally click on it and we have our waterfall chart. Has everyone done that? So next step is to make our chart at least fill our page here, our worksheet, like that. Just drag it, and to make our waterfall chart fit our worksheet. Has everyone done that?
Excuse me, Daniel.
Yes.
My laptop was just woken up. Huh?
Okay.
So kindly.
You want me to repeat on this waterfall chart?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So I'll just undo everything. The first step is to select our data. Our first step is to select our data, and the first column is our column there. And to select multiple columns, press Control on your keyboard and select the next column. And now we have selected 2 columns. Have you done that? The next, navigate to our insert and then move to our waterfall section here. Click on it and then click on that waterfall chart, and there we have it. Are we together, Wisdom? Wisdom, are we together?
Yes.
So next, drag our chart to fit our worksheet. Drag our chart to fit our worksheet. Are we together? Are we together? So the next step is to represent this revenue, gross profit, and our net earnings as totals. Next, you want to represent our revenue, our gross profit, and net earnings as totals. And to give it, look at this legend here, to give it this green color here. So how will we do it? Just double click on your first column here, which is the revenue. Click on this first bar, double click on it. Make sure you are double clicked on it, and then right click and then set as total. Next, right click on our gross profit and then set it as totals. Then finally, our net earnings, click on it, then set as totals. Are we together? Has everybody done that? I'll repeat the steps. I'll just repeat the steps. Double click on our first column here, or rather our first bar chart. Double click on it and then right click to set it as a total, and it gives us a color close to green. Our next chart to set it as a total is our gross profit. Click on it and set as a total, and then finally our net earnings, right click and then set it as a total. Are we okay, class? Are we on the same page? Amos, have you done that?
No, mine still is not working. Let me just try doing it.
I'll just repeat the process again. Just repeat the process again. Click on the first bar here and then double click. After double clicking, click on your right click on your mouse or your touchpad and then set your revenue as a total. Next, go to gross profit, right click and then set as a total. And then finally our net earnings, right click and set as a total. Are we together? Wisdom, have you done it? Alvin?
Yes.
Hubert, have you done it? Okay. And now we have a visual representation of a waterfall representing our income statement here. Are we together? So next we can just give it a title, a chart title. and you can say you can put it as 2022 net earnings waterfall. We can put our chart title as 2022 net earning waterfalls. Has everybody done that? And then finally, and we can bold these numeric values on top of our bar chart. And to do that, click on it, navigate to our home tab, just bold it, navigate on it and just bold it. And you can do the same to the next, just bold them to make them visually appealing. Has everybody done that? Has everybody done that? So the final step is to remove these grid lines here on our visual. The final step is to remove those grid lines on our visuals, and to do that, just select one of it and double click on it, right click on your mouse or your touchpad and just delete, and you have deleted those grid lines. Are we on the same page, everybody? I'll just repeat. To remove the grid lines on our visuals on our waterfall chart, just click on one line and then double click on it. Click on one line and double click on it, and right click on your mouse or your touchpad on your laptop and then delete, and you have removed those grid lines.
Or alternatively, you can use the plus sign, then check the grid lines.
Yes, Amos, that is a shortcut that we can use to remove those grid lines. Are we together? So so that was what we had in store for today. So we have created 4 visuals, a line chart, a scatter chart, and a clustered column chart, and finally we had an interaction with a waterfall chart, which can be used to represent our income statement here. So I open the floor for any question. Since our day 1 to day 8, any question that you may have from our day 1 or day 8, any question that you may have from day 1 to day 8. There are some people who have never spoken in this class, so this is the chance. Since you are in our last class, please unmute your mic and say something. A comment or a question. A comment or a question.
Daniel, excuse me, please.
Yes, Joseph.
I've not understood the last part.
Exactly which part?
This waterfall. I told you my laptop went off, so and you are a bit fast, so I've not understood anything. I'm trying to select the data and go on insert waterfall,
Okay.
and it is bringing me something that I don't understand.
So the first step, Joseph, I'll just demonstrate. The first step was to select the revenue column, the column containing revenue, the cost of goods sold, the gross profit, the salaries and benefit, up to net earnings. Are we together, Joseph? Next,
Yeah.
press on your keyboard Control and then select the column containing the currencies. And now we have 2 columns selected. Are we together? The next step is to navigate to our insert tab there, and then go to our waterfall chart. Have you done that?
Okay.
So, and I have my another water chart here. So just drag it there and expand it. You can expand it. You can expand it. And then our last step is to set this revenue, gross profit, and net earnings as totals. Our next step is to select our revenue, gross profit, and net earnings as totals. To do that, click on our revenue column here and then double click. To do that, select our revenue column and then double click. And then finally, right click on your mouse or your laptop touchpad and then click on this option, set as total. Move again to your gross profit, right click and then set gross profit as total. That will give our gross profit a greenish color. And then finally, on our net earnings, right click and set as totals. Are we together?
Yes.
And then our final step was to remove our grid lines. The next step was to remove our grid lines. And a simple way to do it is to click on this plus sign on our top right hand side. Click on it and check our grid lines. And check it, and our grid lines disappear, and we have a clean waterfall chart. So I hope you are together.
Yes.
So when do we use this waterfall?
So when you are representing our income statements, and to know more about our waterfall, I said Excel has given us some instruction on each and every chart. So when you go to our waterfall and place our cursor there, you see we have a short description about the waterfall chart. So when do we use it? You use it when you have data representing inflows such as a financial data. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So each and every chart has a small description on Excel. If you just place your cursor on top of any chart, Excel gives you a small description and it tells you where and when you use a certain chart. I hope that is clear. A question? Alvin? Alvin? You're asking when you use Excel macros. We didn't cover it on our advanced Excel, but it's still another concept in Excel. You can do some research on it. Okay, Alvin? So anybody with a comment about the classes we've been having for the past 2 weeks, or rather 8 days? A comment, a question, or anything? Amos, do you have anything to say? Amos?
Daniel, allow me to say something.
Yes, please.
You see, I was in the third cohort.
Okay.
So it was not as much interactive as this one. But I've realized that there are some challenges. Of course, we can't miss one or two, but probably maybe because of the different versions of Excel we are using. Like, for example, you might find somewhere you need to double click.
Okay.
And on the Mwalimu side, it's just going directly. So you get stuck.
Okay.
Unless you raise your issue, then you'll not be sorted. But actually, it has been an interactive class, and we appreciate your effort also. make sure that we have learned a lot.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. So anybody else with a comment? So Boniface shared an article on our WhatsApp. I hope everybody went through it. And one of the points on that article was to stay up to date with the industry trends. Stay up to date with the industry trends. And one way to do it is to have the latest Excel versions. Is to have the latest Excel versions so that we cannot be left behind on the current trending topics in Excel. Okay. Yes, that was the 5th point on that article. Staying up to date with our industry trends. And one method of staying up to date with the industry trends is to make sure we have the latest softwares while doing our Excel or any other analysis. Okay. Alvo, say something. We are on our last day of our advanced Excel class. Say something. A comment.
Classes zimekuwa tu poa hadi.
Okay. So thank you. So I'll be sharing some resources that we can use to further our knowledge in Excel. And in particular, there is this one website called W3 Schools. Can you see my W3 Schools on your screens? Hope you can see that. And it is it's a very good website that you can learn more about Excel. You can learn more about sorting and very many functions that we did not cover. So it's a very good site with your learning, and it has a section here for graded projects. So you can go through it and expand more on your learning. And I hope everyone created their Kaggle account. You can create a Kaggle account where we can get our data sets for practice. We have Kaggle and we have BigQuery. Please create your Kaggle account to have access to unlimited data. So is Stella present? Somebody to comment anything about the class before we close down? We'll be receiving your assignment tomorrow, and this time there will be no extensions. I want to receive your assignment exactly 11:59 p.m. on Saturday. Exactly 11:59 p.m. on Saturday. So yes, Amos.
I missed something. Did you just say this is the end of Excel? The Excel part?
So today was our last class, but you know the learning does not stop. I'm always available for any question or query that you have. Okay?
Oh, it's okay. I thought we would do something to do with building the dashboards, the interactive dashboard using Excel, and also something to do with there's something to do with coefficients. There's how it's called, just forgetting it.
Okay.
It's okay.
So the dashboards will be there in your assignments. So that is one part that I want you to do research on. As a data analyst, you should be ready to do research. You should be ready to do research on anything. Okay? So if there is no question, comment, I will drop the call. So thank you for your time.
Before you go, Daniel.
Okay, Alvin.
Just a request. Before, after we do the assignment, Will
Will
we
we
have
have
like
like
a
a
session, a
session, a
brief
brief
session,
session,
or
or
just
just
to
to
revise
revise
on
on
the
the
assignment,
assignment,
even
even
if
if
it's
it's
on
on
next
next
week?
week?
Just
Just
asking.
asking.
Okay. I will set a date, and we can have a meeting to revise the assignment. I'm always available on that. Okay. We'll just create a time, and anytime when you are free, or anybody, we can create a class, and we can revise on the assignment or any other question that you have. So another question. Another question. So there is an ongoing uh, session on Twitter, or rather X. I want everybody to join it, so that we can have further discussions there. So anybody with a comment before I close down the class, or a suggestion?
Are you free to be consulted in some other aspects of Excel like forecasting, such things?
Yes, I'm always available. I'm always available. My contacts are on WhatsApp. You can reach me out anytime with any question that you have. So always feel free. Any question, or if you're doing a project that you want me to comment on it, I'm always available. On our field, I encourage collaboration, and that is one important concept, collaboration. So I'm always available. So any question before I close the class, rather drop the call? So yeah, bye everyone, till next time. So I will share the assignment, and maybe an extra class to discuss the assignment. So bye everyone, have a nice evening.